How's it going, everybody? It's your man, the legend, Sesamating, here to help you get paid on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. Now, we did really well last night. If you follow the channel, if you guys like and subscribe, I gave a bunch of props out yesterday. We did MLB, we did NBA. Well, today we're going to do pretty much the same thing MLB, NBA, and we did really well. Out of the five individual games, or out of the five games that I gave you, we hit four out of the five for the pitching props. So those are pretty good. Check those out here. All right, we hit those. You could have comboed them together in the parlay like I did, but again, that parlay busted because we hit four out of five. Um, and then we also had that 4 o'clock game, the Giants versus the Mets, which was going to be, the San Francisco Giants game was wire to wire. It was a great game if you were following the lines. Now, we did miss out. Webb only got 3 strikeouts instead of the four. But hey, it happens. We're going to strike at it again. Now, when it comes to the NBA props, boy, that back the Brinks truck bet that I told you guys, which was a lock, that one hit. Absolutely. Um, we did not hit on the Hornets hit, but we had to make some tweaking to that 11 legger. It popped a little early, some players were out, so I replaced it with a 9 legger, and that one was able to be successful as well. So that was yesterday, and today is today. Today we're gonna go ahead and talk about MLB first, and then we've got some NBA matchups. Now, there's only I believe 5 games on tonight. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you 3 games, right, that we're gonna talk about, and then I've got a multi-game parlay that we're gonna do as well for NBA. For MLB, I'm gonna talk about from the 4 o'clock all the way to about the 7 o'clock games. I'm gonna do the same thing I did yesterday. I'll break down individual games that I think with players that are gonna get hits, and then I'll go ahead and talk about the games with what I think the projected player props are for the pitching. Now, again, if you want to go higher, I like to try to make my money. Okay, that's what I do. I try to make my money. So if I see a pitcher who's pitching, normally getting 5 to 7 Ks, I'm not gonna put him for 7 Ks. I'm not gonna happen. I'll put him for 4 to 5 Ks. I'm just telling you right now. That's how I run this channel. That's how I do this channel. That's how I make this money. That's how I'm successful to be able to keep rolling this thing over. Pitchers are gonna get hot. That's fine. Sometimes they get cold too. Sometimes batters figure them out. Sometimes they get jammed up. So again, it's smart. The only safe bet is the one you don't make. So with that being said, let's jump into this and let's have some fun. So starting with baseball, today is opening day for the Tampa Bay Rays over in their new stadium, the Tropicana Field. They just got the roof repaired after the hurricane season 2 years ago. Last year was brutal. If you wanted to go to any games that were outdoors in this Florida sun, it was horrible. I plan on going to check out a couple games here next month when they come to town to go ahead and go against the Marlins. It should be fun. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and start off with that game. Rays versus Cubs. We've got each pitcher for both teams to throw 2 Ks. That's it. It's going to be one of those games. And they might throw 3, they might throw 5. But I've got them down in this prop for 2 Ks each. All right. Then we got Yandy Diaz. Yeah, he's coming back home. He's going to get a hit. And then we got Mullins. He's going to get a hit. So that four-player prop looks something like this. Okay. Moving on to 6 o'clock, we've got Los Marlins. That's right. The Marlins going up against Cincinnati Reds. All right. So I've got Williamson for 3 Ks. I've got Junk for 3 Ks. I've got Sanoha for a hit. I've got Hayes for a hit. And I've got Hernandez for a hit and Ramirez for a hit. Okay. So those 4 players for hits, those 2 pitchers for 3 Ks each. That 6-legger pays out at plus 763. And it looks just like this. All right. Moving on to that 9:45 game, Phillies versus Giants. We've got Painter for 3 Ks, and we've got Hauser for 3 Ks. All right. For hits, we've got Arraez for a hit, we've got Stott for a hit, and we've got Harper for a hit. Yeah, I think this is going to go Phillies' way. I don't think the Giants are going to win this game, but something's got to break for the Giants. They've got all that talent, all those bats. Something's got to break for them. They can't keep losing these heartache games, especially last night. They got trounced last night. It was bad. So yes, that's what we have, and that one looks just like this. All right. So those are the 3 MLB games that we talked about with hits and pitches. And now we're going to just run through the slate. I'll go game by game. for the most part and let you know what I think our projections are for the pitchers and their strikes. So we said already for the first one, the Cubs versus Rays, both pitchers for at least 2 Ks. We got Kansas City versus Cleveland. We've got Wacha 3 Ks and Bigby 3 to 4 Ks. All right. Moving on to San Diego versus Pittsburgh. We've got O'Hearn. My bad. I got Chandler for 3 Ks. I'm not trusting the other pitcher. I'm just putting Chandler down for 3 Ks. There wasn't any money in the other pitcher. Moving on. St. Louis versus Washington. I'm staying away from that one. I'm not even touching it. I've got dudes for hits. I don't have anybody for Ks. All right. When we go into Milwaukee versus Boston Red Sox, I got Woodruff for 3 Ks, and I got Bello for 3 Ks. Now Bello had a rough outing last time. All right, Bello only had like I think 1 to 2. I think he had 2 Ks. Bello is a better pitcher than that. He got rocked, and that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You see on these guys their previous performance, their last games, their pitches 7 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts. That's great. They had an amazing night. There's no guarantee that these guys are going to hit 7 strikeouts again consecutively. So you got to go with what's been proven. Moving on, L.A. versus Toronto. I got Scherzer for 3 Ks and Robeski for 2 Ks. And then the last matchup of the night, we had Phillies versus Giants. I had Painter again for 3 Ks and Hauser for 3 Ks. Again, you don't have to take these props if you think that these are a little bit lower than what you like, or maybe there's. I mean, again, you see how we did. That's we're trying to make these green boxes, man. We're trying to check these boxes. So that's MLB. Let's go ahead and move into NBA. This first 7 o'clock matchup is Knicks versus Hawks. It's an 8-legger that pays out at plus 300. Now you got to understand when we get into the NBA, we've only got about a week left. We've only got about a week left of actual playing time until the play-in tournaments and the playoffs start, which are going to put teams into 2 different categories. You got contenders and you got pretenders. You got the people that are just biting by, hoping to get more losses than the opponents in their division, and they can advance for lottery picks and for the draft. And then you got contenders, people that are fighting for seeding, people that are trying to get in, people who actually think that they have a shot. And then you have people who legitimately have a shot, and they may rest players. They may, if they've got seating locked in already, and there's a large gap in between their second and third person on their heels. There's a good chance that they're going to rest their starters. So this last week will not be typical of previous weeks in the league. Just letting you know that right now. Take that with a grain of salt when you hear these props and you consider this. All right. So let's look at some contenders. We got Knicks versus Hawks. It's an 8-legger. It pays out at plus 300. We're going to start with OG Anunoby. Yes, OG for 10 points and 2 threes. CJ McCollum, 10 points. Okongwu, 10 points. Hart, 5 rebounds, at least 5 rebounds. Now, you got to get this early because if you wait before game time at 7, you're not going to find that. Most people are going to buy that prop up early and they're going to bump it up to 6 and 7. So please buy it early. Next, you got Naw for 15 points and 2 threes. And he's going to do it to you, boy. Jalen Johnson for that double. That's right. So that 8-legger pays out at plus 300, and it looks like this. Moving on to another 7 o'clock matchup, we got Pistons versus Magic. Now the Magic played last night, and they can't afford to lose these games. They've got the Heat. They're in 9th position right now. They got the Heat right on their heels, and they want to advance because if you're under that 7th position, you have to. It's a single elimination. So if you're above that, you can lose the game and play it back in. So they really want to get out of that single elimination bracket. So they need wins, even though they played hard last night. So which tells me that they're going to play their starters. They're going to work hard, and these props are going to hit, baby. So for Pistons versus Magic, the 6-legger, we got Pablo Banchero for 15 points. We got Jalen Duren for the double-double. We got Carter Jr. for 10 points. We got Suggs for 4 rebounds. We got Duncan Robinson for 10 points. I want to put him for 2 threes. I'm scared to put him for 2 threes because they wouldn't even let me put him for 2 threes. So hopefully this is the opposite. This is the inverse of the heart bet. Because so many people are going to bet him at 3, they'll probably open up the option for him to get it at 2 just because they want to get as much money as they can, and they'll decrease the odds on that. So, yeah. Right now, if you hold off on the Duncan Robinson prop, you'll probably get the 2 3-pointers closer to game time versus right now if you're watching this video early. And then Desmond Bain Put him down for the 2 threes. He's good for it. So this six-legger pays out at plus 900, and it looks like this. All right, we're gonna go into the last true game, and then we'll go into that multi-legger. All right. So this matchup is at 8 o'clock. It's 76ers versus the Spurs. The Spurs just played the other night. So did the 76ers. I think they're both coming off rested. So here we go. We got my man Wemby for the double double. I'm just putting that right there. That's a given. That's just Wemby for the double double. Then we got Harper for 10 points, Castle for 10 points, Johnson for 10 points, and that's Kendall Johnson. Fox for 10 points, VJ Edgecombe for 10 points, Tyrese Maxey for 2 threes. The value just wasn't there to put him for the points. They want to have him at 27, 28 points. Do I think he's going to get at least 20 points? Absolutely. They just didn't offer that as an option. If they offer it as an option or a goblin or whatever on whatever platform you have, I would recommend you take it. He's going to get at least 20 points. It's coming down to game time for these boys. And again, they're on the outside. They're almost on the cusp, on the outside looking in. They're in that single elimination air bracket too. So they need to win just as bad as the Magic. As the Magic did earlier. So Maxey for 2 threes. That seven-legger looks just like this, and it pays out at plus 475. So let's go ahead and jump into this multi-game parlay. Boy, I tell you, I love these multi-game parlays. Why? Because if it falls off, you can chase it with the remaining legs that haven't hit yet. So here we go.
So
This
spicy. Oh,
multi-game
so
parlay
spicy.
starts off with the Cavs. For the Cavs, we're going to take it very, very easy. All right? No spice, okay? Mucho suave. All right. We got Mitchell for 2 threes and Mobley for 3 assists. That's what we got. Mitchell for 2 threes and Mobley for 3 assists. Moving on to the Denver Portland part of it, we got Gordon for 10 points, the Joker for a double double, and Murray for 20 points. And then we also added Jalen Johnson for a double double. All right. So on this slip, you got Wemby for a double double, Joker for a double double, Jalen Johnson for a double double, Jamal Murray for 20 points, Aaron Gordon for 10 points, Mobley for 3 assists, and Mitchell for 2 threes. That bad boy pays out nice, and it looks just this. All right, y'all. Well, that's it on this early edition. Usually I get these things out later in the day. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And if you're making money like I'm making money, make sure you put that in the comment section. If it's your first time checking us out, make sure you like and subscribe. All right. Till the next time, legend out.